I began the process of discussing the financial options regarding college with John DeLore, and I'm so glad that I did.
We discovered as our daughter headed towards the college years in her senior year that we, though we consider ourselves smart people, able to figure things out, were overwhelmed with the college process. We knew we needed help, and so we looked around and found John, and it was a godsend.
My wife and I both work full-time and very busy, don't really have time to research all the college information that's required.
It became very apparent early on when I was looking at all those the paperwork and all of the different schools and all of their different specialties and all of the different scholarships that were available. It was definitely going to be over my head.
I was told about John through a good friend. I am so glad that you recommended him. He's been wonderful, very personable, very responsive.
Getting through FAFSA and CSS and all those forms you have to figure out, and how to kind of craft your story, because you're presenting a story to these schools. Getting that together was something that he was invaluable for.
We had college ideas in terms of where to go, and then he suggested colleges based on meeting the kids. Once you sign up with John, he helped you with all the forms that are required for the various colleges, provided information about scholarships on top of what we already had. But the main thing John was helpful with was financing the college and how to do it the best way. And that's why I'm here, because I'm convinced he did save us a lot of money.
He was able to keep me out of it for the most part. Yes, I had to fill out some financial paperwork, but for the most part, going through all of that heavy lifting, form filling, and just knowing, he brought the knowledge of all the different schools, but all of the scholarships involved, and he really helped us negotiate that.
I greatly benefited from getting started with John earlier in my daughter's senior year. He offered several different schools as options for Molly to look into, as well as giving a complete comprehensive view of the costs, the prices, and how that would look for us as a family, how doable this was for us and for my daughter. So not only was she happy in her ultimate decision, but we also felt comfortable being able to afford the school that she's going to.
What we're trying to do with two kids in colleges that are expensive colleges on our salaries is near impossible, and I credit him for making it work. I don't know what we would do. It's just enormously complicated. It's you're dotting I's and crossing T's in certain ways, and there's ways and methods to kind of finesse the process that you just can't understand. You might get it by the time your kid's a senior, and then you're too late. You know, having that was, again, invaluable.
If you're on the fence about whether to go with John or not, you can drop in his office. It's in the center of Newburyport, and he can further answer your questions whether you should do it or not.
John just seemed to have all the answers, and I appreciated that he was very direct. You know, I knew that we didn't necessarily have to take his advice, but when you weighed it out, his advice was pretty solid.
Spending the money to have a service like John provides was peace of mind, knowing that we weren't missing any opportunities for scholarships. So we weren't missing any opportunities to save money in certain areas that we wouldn't have known about beforehand. The benefits much outweigh the cost in terms of what you get with the package. Yes, you do have to pay some upfront costs. However, overall, you end up saving money because he leads you in the proper direction as far as scholarships and different opportunities to save.
One other thing that was really valuable from what John did was the kind of human touch that the calls to the financial aid office and talking to a real person. He really promotes that, and that's been highly effective. That's the way business works, or has worked, and it's the way I work. And so to hear him say, you want to get on the phone, you want to get a live person, you want to make yourself known, but you know, he's got that kind of very personal approach to these difficult negotiations, you know, and it's a great thing to remember that there are real people in offices trying to make it all work, just like you're trying to make it all work at home. That was, I thought, a very insightful way of approaching this, and I appreciated that.
I'm glad I worked with John, and I would highly recommend him to anyone interested in finding an advisor for college.
And he landed our kid in a place that I think he will thrive in. Definitely recommend John, yeah. He made it easy.
If you're thinking about getting involved with working with John, College Planning Services, John DeLore, he is wonderful and absolutely worth speaking to. I would get started there and have a discussion. And takes the time to meet with people, and he never made me feel rushed. He always put me at ease and answered all of my questions, helped me to really think about how to get this process started, because it is daunting at first and it is overwhelming, but with the proper tools and with his guidance, it felt much, much more doable and much more comfortable, and I'm so glad that I reached out to him.